What was the longest filibuster before the 1960 for Civil Rights Act? Imagine sitting through a speech for more than a whole day just to block a law aimed at helping millions of people. That's what happened in the United States Senate long before the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The longest filibuster before that law was done by Senator Strom Thurmond in 1957. He spoke for 24 hours and 18 minutes straight. His goal was to stop the Civil Rights Act of 1957 from passing. This act was the first since the Reconstruction era to try to protect Black Americans' voting rights. Thurmond's speech was a way to fight against expanding federal protections for Black voters. He wanted to keep segregation and prevent Black Americans from voting freely. His filibuster was part of a bigger fight in the Senate, where Southern politicians tried to hold onto Jim Crow laws. These laws kept Black Americans separate and unequal. Thurmond's long speech showed how fierce the opposition was to civil rights at that time. Despite his efforts, the Civil Rights Act of 1957 was passed, but it was limited and hard to enforce. It was a small step forward in the long fight for equality. Fast forward to the civil rights movement of the 1960s, and the opposition grew even stronger. The filibuster against the Civil Rights Act of 1960 lasted for 60 working days. This law aimed to end segregation in public places, jobs, and voting. It was a major victory for civil rights activists. The filibuster was led by Southern senators including Strom Thurmond, Richard Russell, and Robert Byrd. They used every delay tactic to block the bill. Finally, the Senate voted to end the debate with a cloture vote, needing 67 senators to agree. This was the longest filibuster in U.S. Senate history. Thurmond's 1957 filibuster was a clear example of how much resistance there was to civil rights. It showed how determined segregationists were to keep Black Americans from gaining equal rights. The longer fight in 1960 reflected the growing struggle and the resilience of those fighting for justice. So, the longest filibuster before the Civil Rights Act of 1960 was Strom Thurmond's 24-hour and 18-minute speech in 1957. It was a symbol of the fierce battles faced by civil rights advocates and the ongoing fight for equality in American history.